Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing the 2024 Kia Soul. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Jerry Sander Kia here in Salt Lake City for giving me some time with this Soul. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through an IVT. Fuel economy is 29 around town and then 35 on the highway with power outputs being 147 horsepower and then 132 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, taking a look at the hood, you guys can see we've got kind of like the U shape here at the top. And then popping down below, I love the shape of the headlights here. It's kind of very playful, and then you got the Kia logo in the center. And then look at this grille. I mean, that is craziness. And putting it all together, well, the hamster mobile looks pretty cool. Now, coming on the side here, our tire wheel setup is 215, 55, 17 in the front and over in the rear. And you guys can see here with the wheel design, it's pretty crazy with what they've done here. Notice it's also mostly closed off. Love the look of the fender there, and then you guys can see everything's pretty much body painted here on the side. And then here's your full side profile. This is where you guys can see the boxy design. Now taking a look at the key fob, we have our remote start function with the Kia logo there at the bottom. Lock and unlock as well. Now popping into the back, you guys can see we have a cargo cover built in from the factory. And then I love how that says Soul down below, but if you pick all this up, you can see you've got the spare tire underneath. And then when you're all done, just plop that down. And then of course we have the Soul's signature taillights here, and then Eco Dynamics. That's an interesting badge down below. But wrapping it up, let me know what you guys think about the looks here of the Soul. Now popping down below, you guys can see we've got padding here, and then I love the look of the handle. And then here are these seats cloth, and you got like the inserts to kind of give it more of like a two-tone look. Legroom back here is pretty solid. We also got some USB action here, and then headroom. It's good. Now taking a look at the front door panel, you guys can see again soft touch here. We've got all of our window controls, we've got our mirror adjustments, and then the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. And then taking a look at the seats, you guys can see again with the inserts all down the center portion. And then our power adjustments here on the side. And then we have our stability control here, auto stop start, that's for the camera. And then the steering wheel is manually adjustable. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, soft touch all around. We've got controls like our cruise control, our steering assist, as well as volume controls on top of that. You can see the stalks here on the back. And then here's a quick look at the gauge cluster. Sorry about that. There we go. Now the camera's focused. Notice we do have some different drive modes too. We got normal and sport. It'll kind of change the look of the gauge cluster. And then we can scroll through different bits of info there on the center. And then in reverse, we do have trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and resolution with the camera is pretty solid. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, response time with the screen is really good, as you can see. So I think that's a big plus. And then down below, you notice you got analog controls for the radio and everything. Surprisingly, it's actually soft touch here on the dash. And then I like the look of the vent here on the side. I think that's pretty cool. And then in the center, we've got our dual zone climate controls. And then down below, you guys can see some USB action and everything. We of course have our shifter for that IVT. Engine stop start, we got heated seats, drive mode select, and some cup holder action with the parking brake. And then look at this with the center console. And then storage in there is pretty solid. Now taking a look at the window sticker, you guys can see 2024 Soul EX. And then here's all the standard equipment. Base MSRP and then total MSRP $25,910. And let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. And through the rest of the rear. And Kia Soul away. Now sadly, since this is not a GT line, it's not a Kia Soul. If it was a GT line, it'd be a Kia Soul. Also, Kia, if you're watching this, give us back the turbo. The people demanded. The people demanded. No Kia Soul turbo. Just, the world it's a gray, dark place now because of that. So just gonna put that out there. Now, actually getting into the car itself. First off, yeah, I like the steering feel. Ride quality is pretty solid. Chunky turn signal sound. It's the best way for me to put it. Chunky. Ooh, I already feel like I have to get into it a bit. So that's interesting right off the bat. But, I mean, so far the ride quality is actually pretty... The ride quality is really good though. But yeah, I just noticed the power is kind of... I guess that's why I said we need the turbo. Also, cannot see past the van that is offering free candy. So I'll just wait. Okay, we're good. It's not bad, but I feel like I do have to get into it a bit. It has such a lightweight, tossable feel, so it's fun. Kia Soul looks fun, and it's actually fun to drive. Let's see, it's another big part of it. And it drives well. I mean, everything about this is, I mean, it's just, it's not over the top or anything, but it's, yeah, handling's pretty fun. Man, if I had a turbo 1.6 liter with a manual transmission or a automatic, that corner would have been so much. I had to do it again. Also, I just realized, I forgot to mention, we got a wireless phone charging pad right up above. So you got storage here and then the phone charging pad right there. So sorry about not mentioning that, but it exists below the climate controls. Yeah, I mean, this is, I think it drives well. I think it drives well. Especially considering the price point. I mean, this is a super affordable car, and I think it's so interesting that all of like the super affordable, not all of them, but most of the super affordable cars, they always have like the spunkiness to them. It's kind of by design, but I mean, it makes sense, right? Because I ultimately think this is kind of targeting a younger generation that might want something that's a little bit more over the top, right? They're not ready for a car that's more adult-like, I suppose. But let's get acceleration here. Yeah, you guys heard the power figures, you guys heard the transmission. It's not going to be the quickest, but I mean, it moves at a decent enough pace. So, and within this segment, it's competitive. Just again, it'd be so cool if we had that turbo back. So to sum things up, I think the Kia Soul it looks fun. It is kind of fun. It kind of reminds me of a Mini Cooper in a lot of ways, like with how they've structured some things. It's kind of like a budget Mini Cooper. It's almost the way you could look at it. That's a cool Bronco. But yeah, overall I think it's a good affordable car, and it's got some fun to it as well, which kind of adds to the value. But let me know your thoughts on the Kia Soul.